top of the programme. Uninspiring, misfiring, perspiring. What's that?
That is the best intro to a halftime bulletin ever. Tony Haggerty. I mean, we were just talking before we came on. What I was going to say was, I'm just going to ask Colin what his thoughts about Ryan Christie's first half, but I better not, because then JP and Tony won't get a minute to air their views. I mean, again, I feel like sometimes I'm repeating myself. You know, we're missing. We're actually missing Taylor on the left hand side offensively. Laxalt gives us nothing offensively. Christie has missed 3 gilt-edged chances. We've actually missed 3 sitters, I would say, in that first half. Eddie, Turnbull and Christie. I'll let you give us a post-mortem on the Christie one, Colin. And again, it's you know, you're looking at that situation where where's Rogic playing exactly? Where's Christie? Where's Turnbull? Everybody's getting in everybody's roads. It's, you know, it's really puzzling and baffling, to use a Neil Lennon word. But I'll come to you first, JP. What was your overall view of that first half?
Well, Tony and I were talking about a song which I was going to actually play as we came on air live, and it's far too upbeat a song to be putting on at half time after that first half debacle. It's just, I don't know. I was trying to watch it through a different set of perspective and thinking, like, if we were in any way in the title race right now, how would we feel about having watched that first half? Mm-hmm. You know, like, I mean, the anger would be even, like, it would be off the charts, surely, if we just put in a performance like that, if we were in the title race. And you'd like to think that the players are still treating the games like we are, but based on that, I don't think we are. I mean, I was disappointed to see Taylor go off, as I've spent all afternoon in a sort of ding-dong on Twitter about the merits of left backs and Laxalt potentially signing as a permanent signing, and then he comes on weirdly out of nowhere today, or tonight, should I say? And you do see the difference in Taylor versus Laxalt, and you know, I don't see anything from Laxalt that makes me want to sign him permanently. And it's an absolute farce. That my mate was texting me. He's an Aberdeen fan, but he was like asking me my opinion on our back four. We've got 2 loanees, a youth player that's played 7 or 8 games, and Christopher Ayer. That's our back four right now. That's mental.
No, you're right. And I mean, see, when I read your tweets actually during the day. When you look back at the introduction of Laxalt, when he first came into the side, I thought he looked like a handy player. He certainly looked as though he was a player who had just come from a club like AC Milan, who I think were getting pumped 3-0 earlier on by Inter Milan tonight, but that's another story. But you look at him now, he's an absolute shadow of that player that we've seen. And you've got to say, looking at the squad, Taylor is by far and away our best option in that position. We keep hearing, I mean, I love the rhymes that you've been coming away with yourself, Tony, but we keep hearing the same types of words like languid, insipid, uninspiring, lacking tempo. That first half was all of these things.
Yeah, said it at the top of the programme, didn't I? Said you looked at that lineup, uninspiring, misfiring, perspiring, and that's what's happened. You know what I mean? And Taylor going off has only added to that. You know, what's happened to Laxalt? We coached a good player out of him again with someone with talent. He's regressed.
Oh.
It's a shadow of the player that you say that came and made an early impression. I mean, what's going on? You know, and as you say, I'm going to hand the floor to Colin Watt now to talk us through Ryan Christie's miss. I feel like there's a Gettysburg Address.
Yeah, Colin, over to you. But I mean, the one thing I would throw in before you speak and wax lyrical about Ryan Christie is 43 seconds on the clock. Taylor creates a chance for him. 32 minutes, he puts one over. Pretty unlucky, I would think. But 35 minutes, probably the best chance of actually 3 really good chances of the match, because he's only got to put it in from 8 yards and he boots it right out the stadium. So over to you, Colin. The Ryan Christie 45 minutes, what was your thoughts?
Well, to be honest, when I heard that NASA was landing a probe on Mars, I didn't realise it was Ryan Christie that was firing it. Honestly, that is a sitter of the Philip Sebo of the Van Vossen-esque. That's dreadful. And see, to be honest, it's not as if it's unexpected. If I could have put one player down to have done that this half, I'd have said it was Ryan Christie. I'd take him off at half time. Honestly, I would take him off at half time. There's a couple of reasons behind it. One is performance. I think his performance is dreadful. You're playing him as a striker. Now, if you put that ball in front of any of the other strikers that's on the bench, they'd have put that in the back of the net. A couple of those chances. Why we're playing him as a front man, I've absolutely no idea. We're playing 5 in midfield, if you look at the 5 midfielders that's there, and Christie's meant to be the kind of go-to man. What do? We get the ball to Scott Brown and he plays the ball right over the top of every one of them at the odds-on Edward.
Yeah.
So you're just completely defeating the purpose of playing the 5 in midfield. With that 5 in midfield, the pitch is so narrow, Ross County are narrow in it, and we're trying to play through them. I can understand why Brown goes over the top, but then that just completely defeats the purpose of playing the formation we're playing. Nothing makes sense in that first half. Honestly, Ross County are trying to hand it to us as well. The amount of defensive mistakes that's came from them. Jakaviti slips, Christie wins it back, squares it to Eddie, should have put it in the back of the net. Ross County then got the park, probably should have scored from that corner. Rogic loses his man and then Christie loses his man, and that's a sitter for Naismith. He should put that one in the back of the net. Greg Laidlaw, a couple of minutes later, terrible kick out. Eddie had the chance to square it back to someone else, puts it across for Turnbull, doesn't get on the end of it. Christie, as you said, hit row N in Dingwall, which is technically row Z because that's as far back as the stand goes. It's a quite small stand. And then that moonshot from him when it gets squared back to him, it's been a really difficult first half to watch.
There's no truth in the rumour that Christie's shot hit Dixie Dean's penalty for 72. Just before anyone starts that.
The thing is, Colin, I know your fondness for Ryan Christie. I know that well, but I don't think it was up there with Van Vossen and all that. I mean, some of the worst misses that we've seen, thinking further back, actually, Tony, you remember, maybe yourself, JP, the Ronnie Rosenthal miss for Liverpool as well, where he's got an open goal just to put it in. And I've looked at it again. He's basically not got over that ball. It's 8 yards out. And the frustrating thing about it, what a move that was, because you've spoken about Brown, lofting the ball over it. I think he's done that 3 times because he's out of ideas. So he tries to loft it over. But on that particular occasion, the play by McGregor to open it up, carve it open for Edward, was superb. It's really the only time I've seen it in the first half where we've had that wee bit of creative play that's opened up the back line. And I think a big reason for that is it's too crowded in there. We've given away a lot of possession in that middle third. I've seen Christie, McGregor and Brown all giving the ball away. And sometimes I'm looking at a throw-in, for example, a simple thing like a throw-in. Kenny's looking up and you've got Turnbull, Rogic and Christie all standing more or less within touching distance of each other. And for me, it's too crowded in there. And it would be the obvious decision to change that and bring on a striker, like you say, Colin. But you said there that any of those strikers would have slotted Christie's chance away. By the way, I don't think it was any worse than Eddie's or even Turnbull's. And if you're going to choose 2 players for a gilt-edged chance to fall at their feet, it would have been Edouard or David Turnbull. Is it just going to be one of the nights, JP?
I sincerely hope not. I'd like to think we've got maybe a 10-minute spell in the second half where we can put a chance away and put passes together and not sky shots over the bar. I don't know. It's Andy Walker said it in commentary. Berate me. I'm watching it on Sky and not watching it on a dodgy street. Obviously, I'm not watching the half-time nonsense on Sky because I'd prefer to actually either watch this or take part in it. So thank you for the opportunity to do so. But I'd like to think that we've got something in us in the second half. Andy Walker made the point. He said you've got Christie playing up front and you've got Klamala, Ayeti and Griffiths, all strikers, all fit, all on the bench. And when he's saying that, everybody else is thinking, wait a minute, why have we not got one of them on? Like, why are they surplus to requirements in this game when we're playing 2 up front and we're playing a midfielder up front? It's madness. Madness.
It is. Kaplan Mark makes a really good point coming in via the YouTube channel. Horrendous. No energy, pace or plan. Playing with 3 number 10s. What is going on? And then James Pearson points out, people really need to get over Tom Rogic. He's not the same player from 5 years ago. He's got some nice touches, but his overall overall play is negative and lazy. I think if you were to choose one player to come off, it would probably be between Rogic and Ryan Christie. Can you see any changes at half-time, Tony? I know that it's not the favoured move by Neil Lennon, is it?
I don't imagine he'll make any changes, but you could take any of those two off right now. And I'd question whether Rogic was ever a player. I've mentioned this before. He got lovely feet and he scored some important goals. But that's all he's got, you know what I mean? He's never took a game by the scruff of the neck. For me, he can never last a full game. You can compile a DVD of Rogic's greatest goals. You can't compile a DVD of his greatest games. Because somebody tell me when he had an absolute stormer of a game. He's contributed some great moments, but that's completely different. You know, and then this is a player that, again, that if he had a lot of ability, which I question, has regressed anyway. So why is he a starter in the team? I can't understand why he starts. The flooded that midfield is the person that wrote in there, say, with 3 number 10s, and they've come up with the square root of Diddley. You know what I mean? So far, I mean, Ryan Christie, I don't want to get Colin, you know, the kind of red rag to a bull, but I mean, you've got to turn around and say, even that chance, you should be burying that. Because it's no hard. It's harder to do what he did. You know, just focus on... Yeah, carry on.
Tony, there's guys on the bench that would have took that chance every single day of the week and twice at the weekend. And there's no indication. There's no indication these guys are going to get the game time that's been afforded to these players. I mean, Ryan Christie's shot was that bad that knocked my internet off there. I'm only just coming back on. Honestly, it's... I give up.
Yeah, you square that to a natural born striker and he'll score. You know what I mean? So I can't understand. Again, back to the team selection, we said at the top of the programme, we just find it utterly baffling.
It is baffling.
And he'll wait possibly till he goes a goal down to make any kind of change. You know, and there's no guarantee that we'll have that 10 minutes that, you know.
That'll be Yogi's talk as well. Yogi will be like, look at the chances they've missed. We're still in this game. We've got life in this game, and you know, you had that chance. We'll get another one. So you're right. I really hope it doesn't take us going to go down for us to start playing, as I hope we will.
But in keeping with the theme of the season, you can see that happening, can't you?
Yeah.
Now, it's a good point because I think it's only fair to pull Scott Bain's save up as well, because, you know, it was a tidy stop, 26 minutes in, decent enough stop by Bain, but that's all it takes, Tony. That's all it takes to turn this game on its head. And if Celtic were to go a goal down, I don't know what the stats are this season, but I'm not confident that we can pull that back. Certainly not tonight, because we're not creating enough. And, you know, see, when you see things like this coming through from Facebook, thanks for making the comment. No cutting edge again, very predictable. Celtic have been predictable all season. Teams find it very easy to play against Celtic now, and it used to be, you know, Celtic Park was a fortress. Even when we weren't playing well, we could grind out results. You always had players with that individual bit of brilliance, Colin Watt, but now we're just predictable to play against. I mean, if Ross County were to get a goal, they'll win that because they'll know how to play us.
Yeah. We're missing the width so badly. And I asked the question why Mikey Johnson isn't even on the bench tonight. He was in the provisional squad for the game, so why is he not on the bench? You miss what you see from someone like James Forrest as well. When the ball gets out to the wide areas, there's absolutely no service into the box. Some people say, oh, Eddie doesn't look as if he's turning up tonight. Get him the ball. He said like 1 or 2 opportunities, and when he has had the ball, he's done something with them. Look, a good striker is going to get 5 and 6 opportunities to score the 1 and 2 goals. People keep going on about Ivan Toney, how we missed it in Ivan Toney. If you provided Ivan Toney the service that Edwards had this year, or the service that Celtic have provided this year, he wouldn't be getting 24 goals a season.
It's a good point. One final point before we go back to the action, because the players are back on the park. Mark Gilbraith, big shout out for the boy Welsh, won every header, only positive in another Borefest. I'd agree with that. I thought Welsh was excellent in that first half. Let's go back to the action, and I say that in inverted commas, for the second half, and we'll get Colin Watt, Anthony Haggerty and JP Mason back at full time. Enjoy the game, gents.
Cheers.